Hello, everyone, and welcome to Test-Driven Development for the Spring 2026 semester. Today, I'm going to go over the prerequisites and assumptions page with you guys just to make sure you have all the required software installations. First thing we need is Python, and then we're going to move into downloading Firefox web browser, the Git version control system. We're going to install a virtual environment on your machine that includes Python, Django, and Selenium for our testing. And then there's a few notes in here that we want to pay special attention to. I am on the Windows operating system, so specifically for me, we're going to pay attention to these notes here for the Git installer to use the Windows default console. For Python to go ahead and automatically add the executable to my path so I can run the commands from the command line. And then a couple of editing configurations for Git when we install it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in to Python as our first install. And we're just going to go ahead and search up Python install on Google and click on that first download Python link, which will take you to their page. And again, we're going to need 3.14 for our install. So you can just click on download, and then we're going to scroll down. I'm going to go with the recommended install here for Windows, the 64-bit installer. And we're going to open up that installer here. Here's our special note for Windows. Just add Python to your path. And then we're going to go ahead and install. And this may take a few minutes. What I may do is just push this to the side here while we work on our other installs while this finishes up, or if this will just go ahead and push through. All right, while that's getting the last little bit done, we're going to go ahead and move on here. We're going to go with the Firefox install. Just download Mozilla Firefox. Download now. All right, while we were doing that, Python was able to successfully install and set up, so you can just close that out. Since we automatically added it to our path, Python should now just work. You should not have to configure any settings for it. And same with Firefox here. Once we get this set up and installed, you may have to tell the browser no to some of the default settings, any profile migrations, things like that. If you don't want to do any of that, you don't have to worry about it since we're just using it for this course. If you do prefer Firefox, you can set those up as well. I'm not going to do that though, so everything looks good for Firefox. All right, let's go ahead and see now. We're going to do Git version control system. Then we're going to install that for Windows. We're just going to click at, let's see, I don't want to do portable. I don't really want to do the standalone. Let's just do the regular install for Windows here. All right, a couple of things here. If you want to have it on your desktop, you can. We're just going to leave those defaults selected. Okay. All right, here's our default editor. Now it defaults on Windows to Vim, which is a more technical editor. If you want to use Vim, you certainly can, but if you're not familiar with Vim, we do recommend to choose a different editor, whether that be Notepad, Sublime, whatever editor you're comfortable with. I'm going to go with Visual Studio Code. I'm going to override the default branch name for new repositories because I'm going to use main. It currently is set up as master. Git's moving to main for most of their repositories, so we're just going to stick to that standard. Keep these recommended. All right, this is the point in our text that was recommending to use Windows Default Console. We're going to select that option. And then everything else, we should be fine. Just go ahead and default the remaining listings and hit install there. Again, while we're waiting on that to finish up, let's go ahead and take a look and see what else we need. All right, so our next done, this is done. So our next piece here is just going to be to create the virtual environment with Python. And then once we're in that virtual environment, we are going to install Django and Selenium within that environment. That way it's not on our local machine. And for that, I want to actually let this finish first. So that way we can utilize the git bash command line. Perfect. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click launch git bash. HTML file. Just do Google Chrome just once for now. That's just going to be your release notes for git bash. So that part does not so much matter for us. So let's go back to our terminal here. And this is what git bash looks like. You're going to see a command line prompt here. We can just take a look and see if our Python installed correctly. And it did, which should not be 313 though. Let's take a look. Give me 1 second. It might have defaulted to an older version when I removed it. So let's see. Yeah. You should not have to, if you do not have Python installed already, you should not have to worry about this. But I'm going to delete those two from my path. That way it can read through 14. Okay, hit OK, hit OK. second. Settings are messed up now. So let me see. Let's just do git bash. Perfect. And there is our 314 that we were looking for. All right, so let's go ahead now. We want to set up our virtual environment. So it looks like we go ahead and create a directory named goat book. So make directory goat book, and we're going to cd into that directory. That way we're working from this directory now instead of our home directory. And then we're going to execute the command as seen in your text here. And this is just going to set up our virtual environment and create our virtual environment for us. And once that's done, we're going to then move into activating the environment. Now, we're not in the environment yet. One of the ways you can identify whether or not you are in that environment is it's going to have this little notation above your command line. So what we're going to do now is activate it. And you can see we are now in the virtual environment. That part looks good. All right, so now we want to go ahead and install Django and Selenium. So in the virtual environment, we're going to pip install Django greater than 6 and Selenium. And again, this is beneficial for using the in the virtual environment because what this actually does is it installs these dependencies, Django and Selenium, in this environment. You don't have to have them installed on your local machine. You shouldn't have to worry about pathing, things like that, because it is installed directly on the environment in Python, which is already on the path. All right, once this finishes here, we're going to check and make sure that it is correct and it is installed in our environment here by running this command. And it says here what we should see is a small pop-up window of Firefox once we utilize that command. So let's take a look. Awesome. And that is what we see. And there's nothing here just because we have not added any text or any actual code yet. So everything looks good. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you have a good rest of the day and a good semester.